All right, friends, it's time to shake things up with our retirement game plan because guess what? The creator of the infamous 4% retirement rule himself declared it dead in the water. Kaput! Yeah, you heard that right. The golden rule of retirement planning ain't so golden anymore. So, what's the deal? Stick around as we unpack this bombshell and serve up some fresh insights to keep your retirement dreams alive and kicking. Welcome to TurboFinance, the place where financial advice comes knocking on your door. Don't wait. Smash that subscribe button for more eye-opening and up-to-date info like this. All right, let's get this show on the road. So, the 4% rule, that famous recommendation for retirement spending, says you can withdraw 4% of your funds risk-free in the first year and then increase your withdrawals each year to keep up with inflation. But here's the kicker. There are a couple of significant problems with this approach. First off, there's the obvious issue. Chances are you'll live a lot longer than 25 to 30 years after retirement, especially if you retire early. Now, you might think, well, what if I just take out 3% per year? That should solve the problem, right? Well, maybe if you've got a hefty nest egg, but not everyone can afford that luxury. And then there's the matter of volatility. If you hit a rough patch with low returns early on in retirement, it can seriously mess up your financial situation. You could end up running out of money way sooner than you expected. Picture this. You've got a cool $1 million saved up, and then boom, the market takes a 48% nosedive, just like what happened to the S&P 500 between 2008 and 2009. And then you want to take out 4% of what's left, which is an absolute catastrophe. Now, the goal of this rule is to give retirees some peace of mind that their money will last for 30 years. But despite its popularity, recent projections of lower investment returns have put it under scrutiny. But hey, here's a twist. Some financial analysts claim that the 4% rule might make a comeback because bond yields are on the rise. Keep an eye on that one. But hey, let's break it down even further. The 4% rule is pretty straightforward. Add up all your investments and, in the first year of retirement, withdraw 4% of that amount. Then adjust the dollar amount you take out in the following years to keep up with inflation. According to this rule, if you stick to this calculation, you should have a pretty darn good chance of not outliving your money during a 30-year retirement. Let's paint a picture for you. Imagine your retirement portfolio is sitting pretty at $1 million. In the first year of retirement, you'd withdraw 40 grand. If the cost of living goes up by 2% that year, you give yourself a 2% raise and withdraw $40,800 in the second year. And you keep doing this dance for the next 30 years. Now, you might be wondering, why bother with a withdrawal rate? Well, hang on tight, folks, because we're about to dive into the nitty-gritty. Before we continue, make sure you hit that subscribe button to TurboFinance, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you'll always know when we upload new videos. It's going to be awesome, and you don't want to miss out. When it comes to making your money last in retirement, you've got some tough choices to make. Take out too much too soon, and you'll be sipping on pennies before you know it. Take out too little, and you'll miss out on all the fun of your golden years. It's a balancing act, and the financial gurus say that finding a safe withdrawal rate is the way to go. This rate tells you how much you can withdraw each year without running out of cash when you're old and gray. It's a starting point, not a set-in-stone plan. Figuring out your withdrawal rate depends on a bunch of factors. How much have you saved? How did you divvy up your assets? How much risk can you handle? And how long are you going to stick around on this planet? As the markets go up and down and your needs change, you got to keep reevaluating these factors. So, let's talk about the famous 4% rule. It all started back in 1994 when this smart financial advisor named William Bengen came up with it. He said that if you had 50% to 75% of your assets in stocks, and you stuck to a 4% initial withdrawal rate, you could make your money last for a 30-year retirement, adjusting for inflation and all. And hey, historical data backed him up even during the Great Depression. So, the 4% rule became the talk of the town among finance folks and retirement savers. But here's the thing. Some people are starting to question its relevance these days. With lower expected investment returns, folks are wondering if that 4% needs to be dialed down. For example, Morningstar, the investment research firm, started crunching numbers and set their safe withdrawal rate at 3.1% in 2021 for a portfolio with 50% stocks and 50% bonds, considering current market conditions. Critics of the 4% rule say it doesn't fully account for market ups and downs and the possibility of lower returns. They think retirees should be more flexible with their withdrawal rates, adjusting them based on what's happening in the market and their own financial situation. Some even suggest a dynamic strategy where you look at how your portfolio performs each year instead of sticking to a fixed percentage. And here's another thing. The 4% rule assumes that retirees will increase their withdrawals each year to keep up with inflation, but in reality, everyone's spending patterns in retirement are all over the place. Some folks spend more in the early years, while others spend less, so this one-size-fits-all approach doesn't always cut it. So what's the bottom line? The 4% rule can be a good starting point, but it's not the be-all and end-all anymore. You gotta think about your own situation and chat with a financial advisor to come up with a personalized retirement plan that fits your goals, your risk tolerance, and what's happening in the economy. Retirement planning is a long game, my friend, and it requires constant evaluation and adjustments as things change. All right, let's keep the retirement planning train rolling. Now that we've talked about the limitations of the 4% rule, let's dive into some other strategies and things to consider when you're planning for your retirement. 1. Check out your risk tolerance, my friend. It's a major player when it comes to shaping your retirement plan. If you're cool with market ups and downs and have a high risk tolerance, you might want to consider a gutsier investment strategy with more focus on stocks. But if you prefer a smoother ride and have a lower risk tolerance, playing it safe with a conservative allocation that leans more towards bonds and cash could be the way to go. Remember, it's all about finding the right balance that matches your comfort level. 2. Watch out for the order of investment returns, also known as sequence of returns risk. This fancy term means that if you hit a stretch of bad luck with lousy investment returns right, when you start your retirement journey, it can seriously mess with the longevity of your portfolio. To tackle this risk, you might want to consider having a cash cushion or dialing back your withdrawal rate during rough patches in the market. 3. Flexibility is the name of the game. Being able to roll with the punches when it comes to your retirement spending is super important. Unexpected expenses or downturns in the market can throw a wrench in your plans, but if you can adjust your withdrawal rate or adapt your spending habits, you'll be in a better position to preserve those hard-earned savings for the long haul. 4. Don't forget about those pesky healthcare costs. As we get older, those expenses tend to creep up on us. Make sure to budget for things like medical insurance, long-term care insurance, and those sneaky out-of-pocket expenses. And hey, look into health savings accounts, HSAs too. They can help you save for healthcare costs in a tax-efficient way. 5. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Relying solely on your investment portfolio for retirement income can be risky business. Consider diversifying your income sources by exploring options like Social Security benefits, pensions, rental income, or even getting a part-time gig. Having multiple streams of income can give you more stability and flexibility during your retirement years. 6. It never hurts to get a little help from the pros. Consulting with a financial advisor who knows their stuff can be a game changer. They can give you some solid advice, take into account things like your risk tolerance, how much time you've got, and your financial situation, and help you create a retirement plan that's tailor-made for you. 7. Last but not least, don't forget to regularly check in on your retirement plans. It's not a set it and forget it kind of deal. Take a peek at your portfolio, reassess your goals, and make any necessary adjustments along the way. Life's always throwing curveballs at us, so staying on top of things and being ready to adapt is key. Remember, retirement planning is all about finding what works for you. Sure, the good old 4% rule used to be the bee's knees, but times are changing. It's a solid starting point, no doubt about it. But don't just settle for that. Go the extra mile. Take a deep dive into your own situation, think about what makes you unique, and be ready to switch gears when necessary. It's all about careful planning, staying flexible, and keeping a close eye on things. With the right approach, you'll confidently navigate the retirement landscape and pave the way for a future that's not only financially secure, but also full of fulfillment. You've got this. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on our further financial insights. I will continue sharing useful content here in TurboFinance. See you in our next video.